Today, the legal battle between Clemson University and the Atlantic Coast Conference was back in a South Carolina courtroom. Lawyers for the school are asking for a judge to throw out a $140 million penalty the school would pay for leaving the ACC.
There's a lot to this, so let's bring in Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, today the judge ruled in Clemson's favor during a jurisdiction hearing. They denied the ACC's motion to dismiss the case in South Carolina, right?
There's so many moving parts with this. What I can tell you is this is the same case, but it's going to be happening right now. And if everything remains the same, 4 different cases, 3 different states. Florida State, you have the case there. South Carolina today, that case will move forward. And in North Carolina earlier this week, the judge made the same exact ruling, saying that the case can move forward here. And so he allowed that the ACC's countersuit to continue to move forward as well and failed to dismiss it. So yes, exact same issue, exact same deal. We're trying to have 3 different judges work on it, and I am confused on how we got to this place. Typically, I shouldn't be confused, but I am confused because you would think cooler heads would prevail, and someone would have recognized that you guys are all talking about the same event. Why do we have to have it being heard in 3 different locations?
Well, I know a lot of it all has come down to money when it comes to this type of thing, too. But it's tied to that contract dispute by the school and the conference. Lawyers here for the ACC claim that South Carolina courts, they do not have the jurisdiction.
Well, and I would say I think that there is jurisdiction in South Carolina. If your foot takes place in there, and when they opened the argument, that's what they opened up with, a still. I thought it was great lawyering. They showed a still of a football game with the kicker's foot on the field in Clemson, South Carolina, and he's like, look, his foot is on that field. So South Carolina ACC does business in this state. Open and shut, you would think. However, the ACC is headquartered here in North Carolina. They do a larger portion of their business. And the South Carolina judge admitted that a smaller portion of their business is done in South Carolina, not the entire portion of it. And so what the Judge Bledsoe had, that's the North Carolina judge, said the other day, and I totally agree, is that what you don't want to do is have 3 different judges making a decision on this case, because it is a contract dispute. You're talking about, what does the contract actually say? Does it grant rights for ultimately the next 12 years? Say if Clemson is to leave today, if the ACC has their way and they read the contract the way they interpret it, they say they maintain the rights for the next 12 years till 2036 to their TV rights. Clemson is like, that doesn't even make any sense. We didn't agree to that. We agreed that you would have right to our games if we are a member institution within your conference. If we decide to leave, we're no longer a member institution. That's what it boils down to. So say if Judge Bledsoe here in North Carolina decides that it's not, but then in Florida, the judge says that it is. And in South Carolina, you know, he kind of punts. Now we're in a really weird situation. Typically, you don't want that to happen. You want one unanimous decision, and we're not going to get that right now. We'll get 3 different opinions. Hopefully, they all say the same thing.
Well, in all this confusion, the meat of this is that Florida State and Clemson want to leave the ACC. They don't want to pay the exit fees, and they want their own TV rights. So where do you think, if judges were to make a decision, where do you see this playing out?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think if you wanted to split the baby, you could say, yes, there could be an exit fee, and it would have to be a realistic and right type of exit fee, not something that's kind of astronomical. But to say that they have access to their rights for the next 12 years, I think that any judge would rule that would be going in the school's favor, that once they leave as the institution and are no longer a part of the conference, that now conference loses their rights. But I do think, when I read the redacted, these are highly redacted. They look like, you know, highly secretive government, because this is ESPN, and they want to ensure that they don't see their trade secrets. So they have been highly redacted. But what I can tell you from what I've read so far, it seems like there is a penalty that all these institutions knew that they would have to pay if they left. What that number is, I'm not sure. Is it $140 million? Maybe a little lower than that. But I think they are entitled to something, because you now have put that conference at a detriment.
Yeah, and it's also on the contract, too, in those details. And also Florida State, that shoe is supposed to drop coming up in August as well. We'll have to see how these both play out and what the future of the ACC is all about.
All right.